I'm not going to be this person. There's no way that I'm not going to strive to be this person, but I'm not also, it's such a limited space, and that space is disappearing quite quickly. So it was only until when I moved to the UK was when I realized that there was a real kind of friction or change going on between how photography was being perceived within a fine art context.
Which year did you move here?
The first time I came here was in '99, and when I arrived, it was there was a lot of hype in the newspapers because Tillmans had been nominated for the Turner Prize, and it was the first time a photographer had been included in the Turner Prize. And so I've told this story before, but I went to see the Turner Prize because I was like, oh, that's cool. Photography's big in the UK too, and but I turned up at the Tate with my kind of Nikon F2 35mm with Tri-X black and white film in my camera, and I went into the exhibition and stayed for about 2 hours trying to kind of grasp it, and walked out and literally just stared at the Thames for about 45 minutes, just thinking, I'm going to have to study all over again because what I know and what's happening here is really dramatically different. So it wasn't a rejection of it, but it was more of a kind of, I felt like I'd been thrown in the deep end to a certain extent. Yeah.
And what did you do next?
Well, 3 weeks later, Tillmans ended up winning the Turner Prize, and I saw an advertisement online at a jobs listing for Wolfgang Tillmans seeking a color printer. Yeah. So I applied for the job and ended up kind of 3 weeks later being in his studio, kind of printing 2 days a week. So, yeah, it was, and that was a really good way of kind of figuring out what he was doing and how he was doing it and why he was doing it, because I could understand the environment and the space and the ideas that he was dealing with. And also I could look at his bookshelf and realize that he wasn't only, he was interested in the same things I was in terms of